हेलो दोस्तों, मेरा नाम चंद्र शेखर है और इस समय मैं मौजूद हूँ हंगेरी के एक शहर मिशकोल्स में। अब मैं यहाँ पे एक्सपेक्ट नहीं कर रहा था कि यहाँ पे मुझे अंबेडकर का स्टैच्यू देखने को मिलेगा और साथ ही में एक स्कूल भी देखने को मिलेगा। आज के इस वीडियो में मैं आपको ले जाने वाला हूँ अंबेडकर स्कूल में, जो स्थित है मिशकोल्स में। अब मिशकोल्स में इंडियंस ना के बराबर हैं, सिर्फ कुछ इंडियन स्टूडेंट्स हैं मिशकोल्स यूनिवर्सिटी में। तो ये बड़ी सरप्राइजिंग सी चीज़ है कि अंबेडकर, जो कभी हंगेरी आए भी नहीं थे, जो मेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसके हिसाब से, उनके नाम से एक स्कूल यहाँ पर, क्योंकि वो इंस्पायरिंग फिगर हैं बहुत सारे रोमा लोगों के लिए। तो मैं आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूँगा कि आप इस वीडियो को एंड तक देखना, क्योंकि ये आपको हंगेरी के बारे में और डीप इंफॉर्मेशन देगा।
मिशकोल्स हंगेरी के उत्तर पूर्वी हिस्से में स्थित है और एक छोटे से शहर में अंबेडकर स्कूल देख के मुझे थोड़ी सी हैरानी तो हुई। अब स्कूल की स्थापना दियारदेक तिबोर ने तकरीबन एक दशक पहले की। तिबोर का आइडिया था यहाँ के जो रोमा लोग हैं उनको आगे बढ़ाना। अब रोमा लोगों का जो इतिहास है वो बड़ा इंटरेस्टिंग है। रोमा लोगों के बारे में ये माना जाता है कि वो आज से तकरीबन 1200 से 1400 साल पहले भारत से माइग्रेट होके यूरोप गए और हंगेरी में ये माना जाता है कि आबादी का 5 से 10% रोमा लोगों का है। ये इनफैक्ट यहाँ की सबसे बड़ी माइनॉरिटी है। तो तिबोर का पर्पस था इन लोगों को आगे बढ़ाना, जो यहाँ के रोमा लोग हैं, क्योंकि इनका जो सीनियर स्कूल तक पहुँचने का रेट है वो 1% से भी कम है। अब अंबेडकर यहाँ पे एक इंस्पायरिंग फिगर बने, अंबेडकर और साथ में बुद्धा भी, क्योंकि जो अंबेडकर थे उन्होंने बुद्ध धर्म को अल्टीमेटली अपना लिया। तो यहाँ पे आपको बेसिकली भारत की झलक दिख सकती है। जो क्लासरूम्स हैं उनका नाम, जैसे यहाँ पे एक नागपुर के नाम से क्लासरूम है। अब इस समय बेसिकली स्कूल में छुट्टियाँ चल रही हैं तो स्टूडेंट्स हैं नहीं, लेकिन आप क्लासरूम्स देख सकते हैं। और अब जैसे इंसब्रुक ऑस्ट्रिया का एक शहर है, तो नाम बेसिकली ऐसे शहरों के नाम पे रखा गया है जहाँ से डोनेशंस आती हैं। यूरोप में बहुत हिस्सों से डोनेशंस आती हैं, जैसे लंदन से भी लोग डोनेट करते हैं। तो इन डोनेशंस का पर्पस है जो रोमा लोग हैं, रोमा लोगों का भारतीय कनेक्शन है, मैं बता चुका हूँ, उनको आगे बढ़ाना।
So Tibor, could you please tell me, how did you start this school? I mean, how did this idea come to your mind?
Yes, we have been doing this same work for 3 decades at least. We began that mainly in the southwest of the country, which is a better part of Hungary, the city Pécs. And around Pécs there are many villages where Roma people are in majority. And Pécs is not far from Western Europe. You know, in Europe it's a strategic position to be near Western Europe, because Western Europe is the source of labor possibilities for people and many other possibilities. Miskolc is farther from Western Europe. This geographical place is in much more difficult situation. When the communist dictatorship collapsed in Hungary in 1990, the whole local industry, mainly metal industry, collapsed, because this industry worked mainly for the Russians, and the Russians couldn't pay anymore from 90. So big factories closed, people lost their work, and that is why they became to find new solutions for their life. And of course a school can offer new solutions mainly for youngsters, but not only for youngsters. So that is why we came from the city of Pécs to the city of Miskolc, and we began to offer these educational possibilities to many people, to many mainly Roma communities in villages first, because these disadvantaged situations came first in villages. So we worked in Sajókaza, in Alsózsóca, in Hegymeg, in other villages, and it was very successful. First, grandmothers came. They wanted to finish their elementary school because many of them were practically illiterate, didn't have any possibility to have even secondary education, and after they brought their sons and grandsons and daughters and granddaughters. Now we don't really have any grandmothers. We have mainly teenagers in our school, and we could leave these villages and come here in Miskolc, which is a local center, which is a district center of a bigger geographical area with good traffic. So we can serve now here many communities around the city.
So why did you name the school after Ambedkar?
Yes, you know, Roma people came from India many centuries ago, 6 centuries ago at least. They came from India, but they speak still a language. Not all of them, but some communities use a language where they say yek, dui, trin, star, panj. You can recognize it. It comes from India, and the whole language they use. And I'm very white because I don't belong to the Roma community, but people belonging to the Roma community are darker skin, like Indians, exactly. So it's sure that Roma people, ancestors, came many centuries ago from India to Europe. It's already a connection. 30 years ago, when we created first a high school in Pécs, we named it after Gandhi, because Gandhi is an iconic figure symbolizing India and Indian culture and non-violence and so on. We were very proud to have the first high school in whole Eastern Europe named after Gandhi, named after an Indian hero. At that time, we didn't know anything about Dr. Ambedkar, 3 decades ago. We could read about him. The first book, this was a French scholar who wrote a book about Dr. Ambedkar. His name is Christophe Jaffrelot. We read that book and we recognized that the story of Dr. Ambedkar could be the story of our best students, coming from the very bottom of the society, coming from a very difficult social situation, and having good schools, having good education, going into Western universities and coming back to our communities and fighting for equality and education of the oppressed. So this is really the story, what we would like to see here.
But you know, like for example, the students here are from Eastern Europe or from Hungary. Can they relate to Ambedkar, because Ambedkar is someone who's very distant for them? How do they relate?
At first, when we translated the first stories of Dr. Ambedkar, of his life, we we could see that it is very, very attractive for them. They want to identify with this destiny, coming from discriminated, low social position, educating, agitating, and going higher into the society, and being partner of anyone. This is the problem of our youngsters, of our Roma youngsters, because you know, in Hungary, in Eastern Europe, people are mainly white. Roma people are mainly darker skin. It's a visible difference, and it's a basis of discrimination, of huge discrimination sometimes. If you go on the streets of Miskolc or the villages around, you will meet many Roma people, many Gypsy people. It's visible, you can see that they come on the street. But if you go to secondary schools or universities, you will meet only white people. It's the white caste which is present in the secondary and higher education only. So that is why the story of Dr. Ambedkar, who fought for equality and who was successful in this fight, is very, very appealing for our kids, our families, our teachers. Yes.
And you know, while I was walking around in the school with you, also mentioned about you know, the kind of support which you are getting from Indian Embassy or from India. Can you please elaborate about it?
Yes. 16 years ago, when we created this school, Ambedkar was already a hero in India, but he was less important than he is now. When we went to the embassy, they were polite with us in the Indian embassy, but having a Dr. Ambedkar High School in Miskolc or around, it was not a very big news for them. But some years after, next ambassadors who came to Hungary became more and more interested to our work. And the last 10 years, the last ambassadors were really keen to find cooperation with our kids and to invite us to Budapest, to the embassy, to come here, to participate to events, to help our work. Even we got financial support from Vice President Muhammad Ansari and Salma Ansari, his wife. So it's a great thing now. We can be really proud of having the only Dr. Ambedkar High School in whole East Europe, because India is proud of us.
So basically, you know, since the school is there, has it increased some awareness about India? I mean, has it contributed?
Yeah, absolutely. For example, if you see the material we could get from the Indian embassy and what we bring from India, this is a very new thing in Europe. Buddhism itself, because Dr. Ambedkar converted to Buddhist faith at the end of his life, and we have many friends who belong to that religious movement and who come regularly to us. This is a source for our kids to know something about Indian culture, Indian history, Indian thinking. But not only Buddhists. We have Hindu friends, we have even Christian friends from India. So the whole richness, the whole wealth of the Indian culture comes to our school, our educational every day. it's great for us even, not only for the students, but for the teachers as well.
And what are the future plans of this school, or what are your future plans with this school?
Until now, we gave only the final exam. It means 10 plus 2 in the Indian system. After 10 plus 2, there is a final exam in Hungary. And it's a great thing for these disadvantaged rural families to have a member who reaches to that level. But now there is a minister in the Hungarian government, Mr. Palkovic László, who gave us the possibility to give more, 1 year more after this final exam, 13th year. For the first group, it was around IT knowledge. But next year, we will give the possibility in finance and management as well. So we have plans and even already results beyond the final exam within this school.
Thank you, Thibaut. Thank you for speaking to us, and I wish you all the best. थैंक यू. मुझे उम्मीद है कि वीडियो आपको पसंद आया होगा. मैं जाते हुए आपसे रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि आप हमारे YouTube चैनल को सब्सक्राइब कर लीजिए. थैंक यू वेरी मच.